All right, guys, let's check out this Islander ISL-58. It's a Lume monster, guys. Lume monster. It just makes sense. So, and I know I've read some comments even from the unboxing or even from some of the other Islander watch videos I've done. There's, mixed feelings on it. Essentially, they're just homage, if you will, or knockoffs or whatever you want to call it. But it's a Seiko monster. I mean, I just took the measurements. I'm trying to see where like it's different. It's not. It's almost identical as far as measurements, with the exception of some of the specs, obviously. But like this one has a double dome sapphire crystal with AR coating. But you could add that to the monster. But this one already has it equipped, so you're all set. The only other thing that is different, really, other than some things on the bracelet, is the thickness and the weight. I guess there's a few things different. But for some reason, the old monster is thinner. So I don't know if it was just a spacer in the movement and they had to use a thicker case back, or if this case back is just a carryover from some of the SKX style ones, or what. But the monster is 12.5 millimeter thick. And this guy, well, including the double dome sapphire crystal, is 14.7. But if you kind of exclude that, it's still 13.5. So this one's a whole millimeter thicker, not counting the crystal, than the old original monster. Is that a deal breaker? No, I think it wore fine. I didn't really notice it. Plus, you can get these. You can go on Mark's website right now and pick this up for $300. You can't find a monster like they're, and if you do, you're going to pay for it. And then there's concerns of what kind of condition it's going to be in. Is it going to be reliable and everything like that? These are all new parts. This is ready to go. This is good to go. So in case you don't know the dimensions, it's essentially like 42.5 millimeter case, 47.5 lug to lug drilled lugs. And then we already talked about the thickness, and 7 millimeter crown, 20 millimeter lug widths, but the bracelet is going to flare out to meet the lugs, and then the bracelet tapers back down to 20. So the bracelet's even actually pretty dang close too, other than it has screw pins instead of pin and collar. I know you guys are going to love that versus the old Seiko pin and little collar. That was a stressful sizing of a bracelet for a lot of people on those, including me. The first one I did, yeah, I lost parts and I was worried. So, but this one has 3 micro address. Yeah, Craig, still 3, not 4. And milled out center, but stamped out clasp here. Still wears great, fits great. I don't have any issue with it. I was able to get it, well, I didn't have to size it because the people that sent it over wear the same size. So I wore this thing for a couple days. And the lume on it is insane. But we'll show that and we'll talk about that in a little bit. So movement in it should be a NH36, day date. You know what I didn't check is the other language on the day, but whatever. 120 click bezel. So here's kind of a downfall, and I don't know if they're all at this level, but the bezel action is super, super easy, like too easy. I feel like it needs a little more resistance. Mine is near perfect, but the whole watch is really perfect because it's my orange monster. So screw down crown, 200 meter water resist, all that good stuff. I can keep this video pretty short, really. It's a monster, guys. It's essentially a Seiko monster, except for this is the Islander ISL-58, and he was able to do things that Seiko would have never done. They would have never have done a full lume dial like this. It is C3 lume as well. It is crazy bright. You have a full polished riot instead of the beveled, interrupted chapter on there. I kind of dig that. It gives it more real estate. It actually makes it present a little bit bigger, and it looks really nice, super legible. And again, here's something I hear a lot of people complain about is the Islander logo. I actually like it. I know a lot of people prefer some sort of words or branding. I actually really like that. I've always liked his logo. It's pretty cool. Automatic, 200 meter, pretty simple there. You can see it's just blacked out where all the information is that you're going to want for timekeeping, including the handset. And the handset's pretty much full gloss filled in with black. It's like they just dipped it in gloss black paint, and it looks cool because it will give you a little bit of reflection, but not too much. You can see the blue of the anti-reflective coating on the crystal. And then the Lume, I don't know if it's C3 or what kind of Lume they use on the bezel, but the bezel's Lume too. If you remember a long time ago, there was an aftermarket bezel that kind of didn't really take off. There was a few fitment issues with it. And this one's almost identical to that, with the exception of the triangle's a little bit different on this one. They actually put more Lume on this one. It's a little bit larger. So then you also have a signed crown. So let's zoom back out. Let's pop this on wrist. And again, in case I didn't mention, this is my buddy Jerry's watch. He sent it over for me to check out. If this room was dark and I put this on, I would know it's a monster. It would feel, I mean, the clasp is totally different. That would be the giveaway for me. But the rest of it pretty much feels like a regular monster. So if you're looking for a Seiko monster and you're struggling to find one that's going to work for you, just stop. Just go over to Long Island Watch. Go pick up a whatever colorway. I'm not sure what colorways he has out. I think this one's the best, but I'm a Lume junkie, so just go pick one up. They're $300. Stop fiddling around. Stop wasting your time. You know, if you love it, especially if it's your first experience with a monster style watch, if you love it, then maybe narrow down what Seiko monster you really want from the old models, from the first, second, third, and fourth gen models, because there's a bunch of them, and then go hunting. But in the meantime, this is a very good way to check it out. This one, and there's some other brands out there too, but the other brands, it's a different case. I think I forgot to point this out. Look at the scallops on the side of the case. The Islander one is much closer to the monster. It's not exactly the same. You can see the scallops are deeper on the Seiko, but the scallop shape on the other brand watches is different. They're like they're not squared off, but they almost look like they're a little more squared off than that. I still prefer the original one, but I wouldn't fight either. I would just swoop one up. So let's kill the lights, check the Lume on this, and then I have to bring the Lumed monster stand because it's a total perfect pairing. All right, let's check it out. Yeah, insane Lume, guys. This thing is a torch and still crazy legible, right? How cool is that? Look at that package. So I'll put a link to where to get one of these as well. If you don't already have one of these, there's a bunch of different styles. It's not just this one. You can get painted ones. You can get turtles. There's a few different kinds. And that's Jerry, the guy that owns this watch. He makes these. So I'll put a link to his Etsy store down below too. And I'll put a link to Long Island Watch's direct link to this guy. So Mark didn't send that over. But Mark, if you ever watch this, you should have sent one of these over. Like, that's a no-brainer. I should have seen this. Anyway, guys, thanks for watching. I'll see you on the next vid.